Later on, there was a house became available, and we moved. It was a little larger. We had a larger yard. Instead of split bamboo fence, we had a big stone fence, and like all the other fences surrounding the houses, broken glass embedded and cemented in the top. Uh, Highly polished wooden floors. So it was a much better arrangement. We lived it was on a dirt street, and most of the streets in Taipei in those days were dirt. There were a few paved streets, and all the paved streets had been put in by the Japanese. Now let me put this in perspective. We got to Taiwan a little over 4 years after the communists had overrun the mainland, and Chiang Kai-shek and the Kuomintang had moved their government into Taiwan. It was also only about 9 years since the Japanese occupied the island. Of course, they were run out at the end of World War II. We're on a dirt street like all the dirt streets. Right across the corner from us was a grammar school, Chinese grammar school. So we could sit at the house and listen to them chant their lessons next door. At the end of the block was a police station. On the other block was the attaché's motor pool. And the vehicles had to be parked outside on the street. There was no room to bring them into your yard. So we had our own private vehicle, 1950 Chevy, and the Navy's carrier. And you can imagine how dusty it was, all dirt streets. So the vehicles were always covered in dust. The children going to school in the morning, headed for the grammar school across the street, a lot of time would stop and they'd squat and they'd write Chinese figures in the dust on the vehicles. Well, I had talked to some people who'd had problems with children doing that. Raised Cain with them, so the next time they're writing Chinese characters, they're not using their fingers in the dust, they're using rocks. So I made sure that the children were not unduly stressed or anything. I'd go out, and they were very shy. They'd usually go on to school, but they got the point of me coming outside, and usually I'd stand there a few minutes and watch them. And I had learned 2 or 3 characters in Chinese, so I'd squat down with them, and I would write my good luck, long life, or whatever. They thought this was the greatest thing.